How's it going, guys? I'm Matt Torix. And if you've been living under a rock for the past few days, you might not have heard of a new game that was released officially a couple days ago called Marvel Rivals. But for those of you who don't know, Rivals is a free-to-play 6v6 team-based shooter that takes some of the most iconic heroes and villains from the Marvel universe, and has them working together to battle their opponents in a variety of different game modes. The game is free to play on PC, Xbox, and PlayStation consoles. When trailers and beta gameplay for this game were coming out, people were describing it as the Overwatch killer, while others considered it no more than a cheap knockoff. But now that the game is available to download, I thought I'd make this video to share my experience playing it these past couple days, and any opinions I might have formed along the way, as well as letting you know what to expect from this game if you choose to download it. This is why you should play Marvel Rivals. But as always, before I let you know exactly what you're getting into when installing Marvel Rivals, I want to give a little history about the game's development, as well as explain how exactly this game works. The game is a free-to-play project developed by NetEase Games that features 33 different playable characters on launch that are all available to play without having to spend money or unlock through tedious grinding, with even more exciting characters promised in the future. The game, as mentioned, is a character-based shooter where a team of up to 6 Marvel characters must use their unique abilities to take down their opponents. And when I say unique, I mean unique, as every character in this game has a fully realized moveset that causes them to play differently from every other character on the roster. The game had a 10-day alpha playtest earlier this year in May to display the current progress of this game, as well as give players a taste of what was yet to come. But as of December 6th, this game is fully released on all platforms, giving everybody a chance to play it for themselves and form their own opinions. In my opinion, I feel like this game is a fresh and much needed addition to the team shooter genre. Since Overwatch 2, the most popular in this genre, is considered a pretty big shit show nowadays. And that's pretty much what I love the most about Marvel Rivals. It keeps all of the great things about Overwatch without falling into any of its pitfalls. The game has fun and unique champions that all work well together, interesting map design with breakable walls and set pieces, and a business practice that doesn't rely on locking things behind paywalls and charging way too much for skins. I'm definitely not saying it's perfect by any means. Some heroes are currently a little too OP, and the maps, although they look great thanks to this game's unique art style, are limited in quantity and sometimes play very similar to one another. Now, when first coming into a game like this, one of the first questions that everybody has is, who should I main? So in this section, I want to break down some of the characters and explain what exactly it is they do, and what their moveset and utility in a team looks like. Similar to Overwatch, the types of heroes in this game are broken down into one of 3 possible character types. Vanguards are the tanks of the game. With big health and an even bigger presence, these guys are meant to survive battles and stay in the fight for as long as physically possible. They might not be getting the most kills in a given match, but a good Vanguard can control the flow of any fight they're in. Duelists are your heavy-hitting DPS characters. They live to rack up damage and take their competition out of the fight completely. Although squishier than the Vanguards, they make up for it with their high kill potential and great movement abilities that allow them to run in and out of fights as need be. And finally, strategists are the support characters of Marvel Rivals. Their toolkits revolve around keeping all of their teammates in the fight with healing abilities and buffs. Even though strategists aren't the ones making flashy plays or dealing crazy damage, they keep teammates alive and are absolutely necessary in any team. So the first step is going to be picking which of these roles you want to play, and then picking a character in that role. And my advice is, rather than just picking one character or role that you want to play, you can instead pick one character from each of the 3 categories. That way, if your team ever needs a healer or a tank, you can just easily swap to whoever you play in that category and be good to go. Now, this is honestly super helpful, because a lot of the times, everybody else on your team will try and go duelists, and without a healer or any type of different role, you will be doomed to fail. When picking a character, it's also important to consider team-ups. Certain characters have the ability to team up with one another and add moves to their toolkit, further strengthening that team aspect. For my time spent playing this game so far, there have been 3 different characters that I've really gravitated towards: Captain America, Star-Lord, and Adam Warlock. Now, I will talk about more than these 3 characters later, but for now, I want to explain these 3 in particular and talk about why I personally like them so much. Captain America is a tanky Vanguard that is the definition of Black Air Force energy. He is a melee-based character that can throw his shield to bounce between enemies. Speaking of his shield, his main ability is that he can hold up his shield while moving in order to reflect projectiles and soak up damage. When this shield is up, he can use a Liberty Rush to dash towards his opponent and damage them. Pair that with Leading Dash, which gives him the ability to sprint and leap into the air with his shield out, and he becomes a real menace. Able to sprint into the enemy lines and wreak havoc with his ricochet, or stay with the rest of his team and defend. Cap's ultimate, Freedom Charge, grants mass amounts of health and a damage boost to all of his teammates within a certain range. Now, I like Captain America because he allows you to play either like a Vanguard or a Duelist depending on the situation. He also has a pretty cool team up with Thor that gives him a movement and damage boost upon activation. Next up, in the Duelist category, we have Star-Lord. Star-Lord is a hyper-mobile DPS character that's pretty much the Tracer of this game. He comes equipped with dual blasters that have a rapid rate of fire and can burn through enemies' health quickly if you're hitting headshots. His main damage ability, Blaster Barrage, has him spin in a circle at high speeds and shoot everything around him. His other abilities help him to stay mobile and hard to hit, like Stellar Shift, which allows him to dodge in a given direction and reloads his guns instantly, and Rocket Propulsion, which lets you use his rocket boots to fly in any direction, but stops you from using his guns. His ultimate, Galactic Legend, literally gives you aimbot as you fly free up in the air and rapidly fire your machine pistols, devastating the enemy team. His main team up with Warlock allows you to revive yourself in the same way Warlock can. I enjoy Star-Lord the most out of all the duelists because his hyper-mobility allows me to cause mayhem while running around like an autistic kid. And last, but not least, the character I play for support is Adam Warlock, a high-damage strategist healer that has brain-dead easy healing abilities. While some other strategists like Jeff and Rocket have alternating firing modes to heal their teammates, Warlock just has to snap his fingers with Avatar Lifestream, and it will automatically heal any nearby team members. He also has Soul Bond, which allows affected teammates to distribute any dealt damage evenly across all other teammates, making any super heavy-hitting attacks do a little bit of damage to each character instead of outright killing one. His ultimate is a mass revive that resurrects any recently dead enemies within its radius. Similarly to why I like Cap, Warlock allows me to play as more of a healer or an attacker when the situation calls for it. And that is just 3 out of the 33 different playable characters. Some others that I really enjoyed playing are Spider-Man, who has crazy high mobility with his web swinging and some damaging web-based attacks, and Wolverine, who has a bit of self-healing and does more damage the longer he's in a fight. But I'd recommend trying out everybody in the firing range to get an idea on what every character does and if you want to play them. So even though this game has only been out a couple of days, I think it honestly has some pretty big potential to be a great game. The launch has done a great job at laying the foundation for what's to come, and present a big contender for the team shooter genre. And since Marvel Comics have vast rosters of heroes and villains across the issues, there's no shortage of interesting characters to add to this game. I myself would love to see characters like Gambit, Ghost Rider, and Mr. Fantastic make their way to this game's roster. But make sure to let me know down in the comments below your thoughts on this game and any characters you'd love to see make it into the roster. And while you're at it, why don't you leave a like and subscribe to the channel, since it helps me to create more videos like this. If you got this far into the video, I thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one. Peace.